Yep, I think that he actually did pick it in a round of 16 in the match, and it helped him in the game, or rather in the match overall. So that's why he's saying again in there. But this time it's going to be a bit different than the Merit, because both are going for Poseidons, and there is no Zeus for Hagrid's side. So it's going to be basically pretty equal, and I'm kind of curious what are they going to be choosing as the secondary gods. If they're both gonna go for Ares, or if it's going to be Hermes, or some kind of combination thereof. Not sure really. But of course, this spawn of Sea of Worms is quite interesting as it's having plenty of gold on the island in the waters, and the fishies seem to be a bit more favorable for Hagrid. You can see he's having a bit more of them next to the dock and next to the shoreline, whereas his opponent, whose map it actually is having a bit more spread fishies. Yeah, that's gonna be kinda sucky. But for the early game, it shouldn't be that much of a difference. He's having at least plenty, but he will have to move somewhere here with the second dock to basically gather from these a lot more efficiently for himself. Anyway, in the meantime, we can just check, for example, some relics. That's 20% pierce attack for buildings. That's pretty good. Especially considering the fact that they're having that they're actually having the fortresses protecting the gold mines. Both of them. That's how the map spawns. He's having the gold behind the fortress, hidden in there. And the next relic is going to be for what? That's for, well, that's good. That's good for Greeks actually. With unit special attack recharge time being slightly faster. So how's it looking with the gold mines? Very good spawn for Jester. Second gold mine very close by to him. And also kind of guarded by the front TC as the back TC is fully protected. But same goes for his opponent Hagrid. Back TC fully protected. The front one kind of further away. Potentially in the range of water though. Not really sure, but could be. It's definitely a threat of that. We're gonna be having to see a bit later. But of course he's going to be protecting 2 gold mines for himself. Oh yeah, it seems like that the map is quite similar for both of them. Let's see how they are going to be actually playing differently in here. In this mirror on the water. What the strategy is gonna be. That's going to be, of course, boars without granary for anything like the berries or whatnot. He's going to be having right now 6 in food. A whole lot more actually for Jester. As he's of course using the lure as well. That's kinda inevitable for Poseidons on the water maps. And for other villages, he's having right now 5 on wood, and the opponent is having just 3 on wood. Oh yeah, so they are having just a bit different game styles and build orders. So let's see what's gonna be better. Already having 5 fishing boats. The opponent is having a bit more. He's having apparently 6. That's one more than his opponent. So it seems to be that so far, basically the build order is better for Hagrid. But considering that original Jester is actually, I think, Poseidon main, especially, I have seen him play it quite often in this tournament. So it's basically his favorite god, it seems like. It might be just a bit better from him, depending on what he actually goes for. At this stage I wouldn't be surprised if actually Hagrid went for Hermes, because he seems to be going for a bit different build order than just the Poseidon main. So I'll be thinking a bit different strategy overall as well. And Sigma, yes, this is Sea of Worms, the original version, not the RTS League version that we are playing at the RTS League and, for example, Frozen Base and such. This is the one with the fortress and the gold on the middle island in there. But still, there is plenty of gold on the mainland as well. You can see 2 extra gold mines for both. 1 and 2, so they don't really need to move there all that much. They really don't. So we are at 340. So advances should be coming in for both or not. Yes, Temple in here at the bottom also. Apparently somebody is getting a bit better in the economy. That will be probably the fishing boat. Some extra fishing boat in there as they are clicking into the next stage apparently at exactly the same time, it seems like. They should be the advance into the Classical Age. Hippocampus scouting, of course, and the enemy is scouting there as well. Not only the seahorse, but the normal horsey as well. So original Jester is going through Ares. Well, this should be close enough if he casts it here. This is looking very similar to the Merit. I would be expecting it will be working on both. And apparently Hagrid is also going for Ares. Well, Pestilence here. Hitching just 1 for Hagrid. For the opponent, it hasn't been cast yet. As he's at least, he's maybe thinking he can even deny this. Oh, yeah, he cannot. He was just a bit too slow. So he's gonna be casting it about here. Right. I'm kinda right now not sure what actually he's waiting for. Yeah, he got both. You can see that he's basically having a line of sight and basically area of effect through the whole screen. Yeah, so that's basically what it is. And yeah, Hagrid unfortunately not really happy enough about it. You can see this is just slightly, ever so slightly further away. You can see just the half dogs in there, whereas in here you can basically see them both fully. So if you can see the dogs fully on the map, they are going to be affected. Basically the whole screen is going to be the area of effect for the pestilence. And if you don't see them fully, then unfortunately for them, they are not going to be caught. So yeah, that's that. That's how it works in here. And, well, this is of course gonna be resulting into a pretty easy battle right now for original Jester. There's probably not going to be any kind of trick at all that Hagrid can be pulling off. The economies at the start and the build orders were slightly different, but they have arrived at the classic village at basically the same time. Villager for Hagrid even dying. Not going to be finishing with the dog at all in here to try to help him. And well, the two dogs should be pretty much enough, and even the third one wouldn't be able to help Hagrid all that much, it seems like. So let's check, for example, how it's looking with the upgrades. Handux for blue. Red is having Handux as well, so basically the same economies. Tons of villagers, I can't really count this. But yeah, at this stage it's slowly looking like that Hagrid is fully switching into land build order. Yeah, he definitely is. He's basically going to be giving up on the water altogether, giving it to original Jester, which is of course gonna be pretty good advantage for him, getting the water economy on top of his opponent. But of course, you mustn't forget that the opponent is also going to be having to switch his economy, which is always going to be a disadvantage. So yep, original Jester inching into actually tying the match. Maybe you're going to be seeing the 5th game as well. But well, let's not call it a game yet, because it's going to be up to original Jester to actually react to the situation correctly, advance into the next age fast enough, because through all this food he should be having the resources for that fairly easily, and then defend against what's gonna come from his opponent, as he's already dropping the stable and the archer range, and going to be trying to be aggressive on the land before his opponent is ready for that. So, interesting. Double stable apparently gonna be coming up. And it makes plenty of sense. And what else is gonna be happening in here? I'll be definitely liking a bit of a pickaxe, as he's gonna be needing a ton of gold for all of those guys on the horses. As of course, original Jester is just basically mopping up, getting rid of all those fishing boats. Well, apparently, he kind of forgot to cancel some tree mess in there. Yeah, he definitely could have saved some resources, actually plenty of them, but right now he should be pretty much fine, as he's already switching into the stables, but has been found out, and it's going to be a bit too late. It's probably gonna be finished, as apparently Hippolyta is gonna get beaten to death, it seems like. Yeah, he's gonna be beaten to death, or rather she. And she's dead, but otherwise the villagers are going to be paying for it, because already Hagrid is in there with the Toxotai, with the Hippicons, and with the Zeus. So quite easy for him to fight. Second stable finished, and that's super important for Jester, because if it wasn't, then building just from one stable, that would have been very hard for him to even put anything on the board. But still, the advantage is quite strong right about now for Hagrid. Archer range is going to be under the protected fortress, and that's exactly the strength of Sea of Thorns, because you win the water, and your opponent cannot really attack you all that easily because of the super strong built-in base. And that means that usually, really what I said a bit before would be a better idea for Jester. Basically, when you win the water, use the food resources and the Pulsane upgrade and whatever to basically advance faster into the heroic age, and through that you should be able to easily counter what your opponent, even switching into the land battle, will be putting against you. But well, that didn't really happen. Seems like that Hagrid is going to be able to get rid of the stable. Ah, sorry, just moving a bit more than I should have with the mouse, and of course this is going to be just too hard for Hagrid to do anything. And even though he's trying to wall up right now original Jester, it's a good idea, but I don't even think that he actually needs it all that much, because he does have the gold in pretty good position. It's also right close to the fortress as far as the building fire goes. So it's not really that much of a threat to him, but I'm not exactly sure what he wants to right about now, because he's already way too late. And of course, even though he's trying to micro himself into archers with the horses, he's just going to be always having lower army than his opponent at this stage. He just needs to outtech him and use the power of the extra economy. So stable coming up. Right now another power spike is going to be coming with Hagrit getting medium beacons. That's going to be a pretty huge deal for him. Once that happens, right now he's going to be probably trying to at least get at the villages with the toxots, which will work if he plays it correctly. Well, kinda disappointed that he's actually not even trying to send one beacon to the top side to basically at least scout what his opponent is doing in there. But yeah, he's thinking that it's going to be enough to actually push forward through this position. And at this stage though, he should be just basically camping himself somewhere here and be annoying with the toxots on the gold miners and basically force his opponent to switch into this gold mine, and that could be then potentially a bit more open for him to get rid of. But yeah, apparently it's going to be a bit harder for him than he thought there. Let's check, for example, if he's coming into heroic, if he's going to be ready for that. Apparently not, it's going to be just still the same. He's having a few villages in there, one idle, just stopping mid-track in there, and apparently for him right now, surprising walling. Toxotai is still no mediums. Apparently nobody upgraded anything at all. Another stable in there. As he's gotten through the wall, which is actually pretty important right about now, and Jester will have to fall back. He still does have some gold in there, but it's going to be 500. But we mustn't forget that he actually controls the water, so all he needs to do, build a transport boat and just go here. And you don't need to worry about your opponent doing anything at all. Just get all of those, transport them onto this island and be happy. And you can let your opponent rate your gold mines however he wants, because he's not going to be able to do anything at all with the little island that is in there. Yeah, nice scouts in here. Could be probably using one extra in the middle, but probably doesn't want to waste population limit at this stage. Which I can definitely understand, to be honest, because he needs all the units that he can get in these battles. I'm just right now hoping that he's not going to be all too reliant on this gold mine, and he really realizes the power of the gold mines on the island in the middle. Because if he doesn't, then he might be making quite a lot of mistakes and basically incorrect choices in the game. And that would be really playing into Hagrid's hands. He is right now doing a good job trying to deny the gold both on the left and on the right, but yeah, it's not like this one is really anything important. Just 140 left, so he might just as well, yeah, not care about it at all. So plenty of army right now coming up for a Jester. But no heroic age yet. Medium Hippicons finally. Nice. Finally some medium Hippicons. I'm kinda looking at why actually original Jester is not having more Hippicons. He should be still having plenty of gold. Maybe just spending it into archers? Not sure, but definitely could be the case. But those medium Hippicons are going to be allowing him to basically go forward in here. I'm kinda thinking that he could really send them forward and just let it be. Because the medium Hippicons are already quite tanky at 165 hit points and pretty decent armor for the pierce damage. That's not really how bad, 25%. Could be better, of course, with other units, but it's not bad either. It's not bad either, and it's definitely resulting exactly into this, pushing off the gold, and well, right now still villages there, and still no transport into this part of the map to basically have gold and as much of it as possible without any kind of threat of actually being here. Right now I'm thinking that actually original Jester should be having the villages there still, basically as a bit of a decoy for Hagrid to make him think that this is basically the gold that he's fully relying on, because it could mean, if he doesn't realize that actually original Jester would be somewhere else as well, gathering here safely without any kind of problem, that Hagrid might be a bit more aggressive and a bit more all in certain situations, which is of course always going to be working towards you if you are the one controlling the situation and basically forcing your opponent into incorrect choices. So yep, thank you. Finally realizing what should be happening, and that's getting the gold miners exactly into here and placing the hippocampus in the middle to basically make sure that your opponent is not going to be surprising you at all. And he definitely needs to keep those 3 RMS in there. He definitely does need to do that. At this stage though, he still should be pushing for the gold, or trying to actually somehow make his opponent think that he's coming for it, because if he doesn't, then Hagrid is gonna realize that problem is going to be coming up, and the problem is his opponent having the whole island. And they should be given enough time to original Jester to potentially even advance into the next age. Yep, as armor is coming up, and probably will be coming up for the opponent as well, because I'll be thinking that with how the game is going, and he's not really losing all that many units, you should be stockpiling quite plenty of resources here. You can see the armory finished on the right, and well, not much of a battle happening really on the right side either, of the right side of the fortress. So let's check if maybe somebody already clicked. No, well, maybe they did. Maybe they could have. I'm kind of thinking that red might have. Blue possibly as well. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe it would be a bit more favoring the blue player, of course, because he was having a bit more gold potentially for himself. So I'll be thinking that he could be advancing a bit faster. Now he's moving with the villagers to the wood line at the back. That could be potentially a bit of an issue. Yeah, you can see this. Just wood line basically gone. This is going to be one of the last one on the mainland. That is fairly safe for original Jester, but he still does have at least the woods on the island yet again, so he can probably just basically transport all his economy in there and be without any kind of threats. He's just basically having 3 MS all across the shoreline, trying to make sure that there's not going to be any kind of problem happening. But it also means that he's having 4 boats. 4 boats that are actually, how much? Actually, population limit, 8 population limit basically missing from the battles. And that of course could result in all kinds of interesting situations, because it will also mean that this Cyclops is not a half bad idea, as he does have quite a good attack against buildings, and with some Epicons in there. I don't think that crenellations are going to be researched, as they aren't. That, of course, this could be a pretty good opportunity right about now for Hagrid to push forward, and really might be working for him. But he could definitely use even more Cyclopses for that. Is he gonna get some more? I'm not sure. He's getting enough favor for that. He probably does have enough food. Fortunately, neither player is apparently advancing through Heroic Age yet, because you have to look at that quite a lot sooner. Rather quite a bit earlier, as already second Cyclops have found his way in, and it's going to be up to Theseus and Hippolyte right about now coming out and trying to get rid of them. But is it going to be fast enough? I'm halfway thinking it might actually not be, because of course the archers are getting rid of the Theseus. Oh, just a micro, please. Yeah, that's not looking that awesome, because the fortress is gone. This one guy is gonna take it down. Yep, good job. And unfortunately this could have been prevented. Could have been prevented quite a lot, as of course this, yeah, well, these Cyclopses could have been killed. Unfortunately, original Jester wasn't really microing properly in there. Crenellations are actually important in Poseidon Wars quite a lot, because crenellations are giving you 100 extra damage against horses. And since you are having horses everywhere when you are playing as Poseidons, I really think that crenellations would be making quite a ton of difference in there, but it doesn't really matter anymore, as Tower is going to be coming up right now from Hagrid. He's apparently already having them researched and going to be trying to basically steal the TC from his opponent. You can see already the military buildings, and somebody forgot to set the waypoints. You can see so many archers. Right now Hagrid has to be wondering, where the hell is my army? Where the hell is my army? Well, it's here. Just... yes, stretching, finally realizing that, and even without all those guys, it's, well, not doing anything. Crenellations are fairly certain it's on forts as well. I'm not 100% certain, maybe you could be right. Where is actually crenellations? Oh, where do I have it? I'm not sure, but somebody advanced somewhere, so that's going to be heroic for original Jester. Let's look into this battle right now and look for the crenellations in some meantime, like for example now. Oh, no, it's not clicking into the correct places, so let's go back to the battle again. And it's going to be Khan, the Curse, and of course right now it's going to be up to Hagrid to retreat from this position and potentially try to capture the TC. He's so far going for the safe one inside his base, as plenty of villages are of course being transported by original Jester onto the mainland. on the mainland, on the island, rather. The mainland is this one, where the main battle is happening. Medium Hippicons on both sides, and we probably won't be seeing any kind of extra upgrades in, rather, from the armory around either side. So medium Toxotes in here as well. As Prodromai are going to be the unit of choice right now for Jester, or rather for Hagrid, but still with plenty of those Toxotai in there, it might not really be working all that well, as Watchtowers are finally up with the research, and that's one extra problem right now, of course, especially for the horses. This is going to be that easier for Hagrid to actually guard off. So Market coming up at pretty far away. Is he actually having enough for Mythic? Oh no. Good? No, definitely not. He's not having enough for Mythic, so that's basically just trying to prepare for that and maybe get some extra resources. But apparently right now, original Jester is moving forward quite well, and it seems like that this forward base is going to be falling quite soon. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that Hagrid should be holding this. He should be right now probably just falling back. Just falling back next to this TC, trying to guard it a bit more, and then all the army coming somewhere to the bottom, because it doesn't seem like that he will be able to get rid of all those Toxotai that are just in big two numbers. In two big numbers in there. To hope somehow to get rid of them. Yeah, it seems to be really going quite well for Jester. As he's basically trying to be... Yeah, going to be trying to get the TC, which should be working fairly easily for him. Hagrid is noticing, at least with the Hippicon, so he's gonna be killing like 1-2 villages maybe, if his opponent doesn't notice fast enough. But still, the army kinda not numerous enough. And of course, Jester is still getting the advantage from all the fishies on the water. You can see he's absolutely everywhere across there. So TC going to be his. Not really any kind of problem at all, which is of course gonna be a pretty big problem for Hagrid, because these buildings are going to be more or less wasted in there. And that will also result into a pretty good opportunity for Jester to somehow think about maybe even the Mythical Age, as he's having quite enough army and maybe even some upgrades, because upgrades were so far the problem that were costing him the game in game number 1 and 3. Definitely were missing, sorry, for him, and that's why Hagrid was having such an easier time of getting ahead of him. Stable. I kinda thinking that Hagrid should be a whole lot more conservative. He should be just building the buildings here, rather more further away from the water, to basically not be so susceptible to some problems like he's going to be now. He's going to be losing the villages, the buildings are going to be yet again kind of uselessy. Not that useful all that much, as they are going to be quite easily under fire from his opponent, who is just going to be getting rid of them sooner rather than later. And of course, if he built them somewhere here, they will be staying a whole lot longer. So a bit of radiant by the archers, apparently trying to get rid of some reinforcements as they are coming into the battlefield. Yes, this trade is definitely not gonna work for you, Hagrid. You will have to put in a whole lot more effort than this. Looking with some potential advances into Mythic, still absolutely nothing. And that will be signaling that they will be going there. So apparently stables are going to be coming up right now by Jester, and it makes a whole lot more sense, because it's next to his town center, and it will be fairly easier for him to defend, even though he still has a problem. That of course he doesn't have the fortress for free, and that will be producing Petrobolite. That will be definitely helping him. And I'm kinda thinking that right now Hagrid is kinda forgetting about it, because he can produce Petrobolite. He can just produce Petrobolite to get rid of the buildings, but he's not doing that at all. And, well, maybe it could be helping him a bit, but still, he's having overall pretty huge problems, even handling the army from the red player. Well, Jester seems to be right now getting ahead of himself, moving forward across the base. But right now it's going to be basically waiting for him to rebuild the fortress and get the siege, because without the siege, Poseidons are usually having pretty big problems actually somehow dealing with buildings. You can see how long it's actually taking to get rid of even some solitary stables or markets or whatnot, because they don't have the bonuses from the hoplites and whatnot. That could be helpful. Right now it's not. So we have the time for the crenellations, if I can actually locate it here. Okay, so it's tower damage to cavalry, tower and fortress track rating. So it's better for fortresses as well, because they are better at hitting, actually, the units. The damage, well, I'm not sure really, but it's usually researched, especially in AOT, it's researched also for migdals and whatnot, so I'm really thinking, at least in AOT it does. Maybe somebody else will know slightly better, because right now I cannot really swear on it that it really is going to be the case, but still, it's useful for fortresses as well, because if you can hit the horses better, then you are going to be dealing more damage to them as well. So you may be right that it's just damage for the towers, but yeah, it's not useless for the fortresses overall either. So somehow, right now, it seems like that actually Hagrit is going to be able to amass enough army yet again to push forward. Apparently, he's been already heavy. Yeah, heavy prodroma and whatnot, as there are still mediums for Jester, and Jester is yet again going to be falling into the same trap of not having enough upgrades, it seems like. Even though he's having 3 TCs, he has gotten the third. Hagrit is going to be getting the third pretty soon as well. Right now, the upgrades are still going to be better. Still going to be better for the blue player, and you can see how much of a difference is it making. Not only the numbers, but of course he's having plenty of extra damage and defense as opposed to the opponent. The opponent is having some upgrades from armory. No, he isn't. So neither player is having some upgrades there. And it seems like that this is... To be honest, I'm not all that sure why actually Hagrid is still moving like in this direction. I'll be definitely liking it if he basically diversified a bit to the left. Because of course his opponent is wide open, so potentially could be like, I don't know, just being annoying next to his base, as he's still in the piggies, without husbandry, has to be said. Yeah, potentially could have had quite a ton of extra food. Does he at least have... Oh, he doesn't even have... God damn it, Salt Amphora. That's a huge mistake right now by Jester. Salt Amphora is making a whole lot of difference, especially with so many of them being there. And Earthquake gonna get rid of the TC. Or is it not? Wow, it's not. The TC survived with about 180 hit points. Well, that was a wasted. That was a wasted Earthquake. It killed a few military buildings, but unfortunately no the TC. And right now I'm fully waiting for original Jester to finally produce some siege boats. He needs to be trying this DC, because I think that is actually in range. It could be. With Naval Oxybelles, I'm fairly certain it will be. As we are still concentrating on the battles on the right side, and there are so many options right about now for Jester to actually make the game a whole lot harder for his opponent. Because he is... right about now, and basically from about minute 6, the game is basically his to be lost. It's all up to him, because he does have a ton of gold on this little island. He does have extra wood in there, because he kinda needs it. He's going to be running out of those woods in some 20 or 2 minutes or whatnot, if the game is going to be longer. We are already heading at 28 minutes. And the Chimeras, that's a good choice, very good choice, and should be coming in pretty high numbers, because Chimeras are very hard to deal with for any players. Except Greeks, or rather except Egyptians. And that's not the case. The Greeks are of course going to be having a bit harder time against them. If they go for some raiding on villages or whatnot, that's where they actually excel. So town centers not unfortunately fortified. For some extra pop limit, finally at least heavy hipicons. And we are at copper shields, going for fortress, quite aggressively so. So definitely not afraid of anything in there. Medium Tuxotes, and no extra upgrades for them. Ah, but he's through Artemis, so is he gonna cast it here? Yeah, he probably will. And right now the DC is gone. The DC is gone. And for the opponent, it was gone even though he actually didn't have Masons either. I was maybe kind of thinking that he could be having Masons, and that was the reason why he actually was able to keep it alive, but that wasn't the case. And well, TC gone, and that would have been an opportunity for Hagrid to actually deny it for a moment, but apparently he's just going to be casting it like that, and that's just not how you cast Earthquake. That's just not how you do it. That's more or less a wasted god power at that stage, because you're giving your opponent time to rebuild it comfortably, exactly like this, and to wait for you for the next battle. But if you use it at the same time when you are attacking, you're going to be absolutely crippling your opponent, and multiplying the advantage that you get from it. So if you are casting Earthquake, just wait for some good engagement, unless you are in some absolutely horrible situation that you are gonna lose the next minute if you are not gonna cast it. And if you can time it together with some important attack, it's just going to be so much better. And it's a very powerful god power, especially through the deletion of, for example, all the military buildings, which is quite difficult to deal with, and more difficult to deal with on vanilla than on AOT, of course, because of the AQs and the micro and whatnot needed. That on vanilla you need to have. So champion Hippicons, no extra upgrades though. So opponent is having heavy Toxotes, heavy Hippicons with baseline already coming through. That's nice to see. Also with Levy for faster production, which his opponent doesn't have. That's of course gonna be helping with replenishing the losses quite alright, as Chimera is coming in as well, and apparently it's going to be one-on-one. But with Hippolyta being present on both sides, it's going to be up to proper micro. Yeah, they're trying to eat each other. But it seems like the red one is gonna be dying quite a lot sooner. Oh, especially since there's gonna be second one coming up. Second one coming up, but the TC is close by, so we should be expecting Theseus, Hippolyta, Atalanta, and the last one, that's Polyphemus, right? Not Zeus, Poseidon. Yes, that's gonna be Polyphemus, who is gonna be joining the fun as well. He's gonna be good against Chimeras, but otherwise he's kinda sucky on the vanilla. But against Chimeras he's gonna be doing his job quite fine. Quite fine indeed. So this battle seems to be going for Hagrit, yet again, because of the advantage of the champions, slightly, ever so slightly, nothing that major. Just those Chimeras are basically right now saving Hagrit in the battle, because otherwise those opponents are, or rather, the Hippicons will be moving forward. As we are looking at the town center, getting exactly the fortified treatment. His opponent is not fortified yet, but he's having at least Masons. That's of course gonna help him as well, and he's having Idlers, and unfortunately not repaired. Well, I'm just waiting for Jester to realize when he can probably delete a few of those boats, because apparently Hagrid doesn't have any kind of... Oh, this hurts. This is standing here for quite some time. I have been noticing it on the minimap for a bit longer. Yeah, but to finish my thought with the water, Hagrid doesn't show any signs of coming back on the water, so Jester should be just deleting the boats and just trying to at least see if he can hit the TC in there, because if he can, that's gonna be insta GG. If he can keep this down, that's not gonna be anything that actually Hagrid can do about it. At all. Anyway, Chimera Tyrants. So they are getting quite nice colors on them through the upgrade mod. As he's right now moving forward with quite good numbers. And yep, this is exactly why they're so good against villagers. Their extra special attack killed 5 at once. And once actually the Chimeras can get at some, for example, gold villagers. If he was to actually use them and transport them into this island, well, that would be absolute annihilation of everything on it. That would be like Holocaust #2. That would be absolutely horrible for Jester, but that's just not gonna happen. You could have seen a bit before that he's not interested in the water, and well, nice walling in there. Chimera's going absolutely everywhere, trying to find their way through, and the fortress is very much present, but Helepoli not coming out of it. No Helepoli yet, which is quite interesting indeed. Upgrades, nothing on farms. That's brave. He's right now just coming for the first time into farms at 33 minutes. Well, alright, and still not having Salt Amphora. That's just a big mistake. If he was having Salt Amphora, good luck actually dealing with that, Hagrid. But anyway, that's not the case in here, as at least original Jester is trying to kill the trade, at least make it a bit more difficult with the Prodromai, but it's not like they're doing anything all that significant. He would definitely be well served by sending a Chimera in there. Exactly, this one should be coming into the battles in there, but Helepolis is coming up, and it's coming up from Hagrid. So, apparently this fortress should be coming down fairly easily, even though the Chimeras are going to be coming up, but they are not tyrants, so these are gonna be a whole lot better. But Theseus is working on putting them out of their misery pretty soon. Pretty soon indeed. So Willy's finally moved, as they are right now going to be here. I'm just going to be checking into... Oh, are we missing... Yeah, it's kinda sad. Well, we are actually having quite nice upgrades, but we are missing something on the wood, and I'm kinda thinking he could be using some extra wood at this stage even so, or rather even here. He's still basically just moving forward, losing one of the Chimera Tyrants as the Zeus and the extras are trying to catch it. And well, Helepolis somehow found its way next to this base, and that's not really all that ideal. Definitely should have stayed here, getting rid of the fortress, but it apparently didn't. In the meantime, the Prodromi, who are already heavy, are still trying to get rid of the trade. Unfortunately, they're going to be fairly surprised by the tower. That's gonna get rid of them fairly easily. But yeah, even switching into some medium peltas, but the problem is, of course, that Hagrit is out of gold. Right now, Hagrit is out of gold, and there's his side build. Oh well, that's finally a nice play. Hagrit is out of gold. This is basically last gold mine that he can get, and the trade. And once he loses the trade, he's absolutely toastish. And he's exactly losing that, even through the tower. But much more importantly, this side build. This side build is gonna win the game for Jester, because Hagrit is gonna be supremely surprised once he gets some Helepoli from this, and some extra horses from there. And well, just delete those already. just delete those. And I'm just unsuccessfully probably and unhappily going to be waiting till the last minutes of the game, if maybe some siege boats is going to be coming up. So finally going for some extra population limit. Just one of those, as he wants to still keep some line of sight apparently there. But the army from blue is getting some good numbers. As red is still sending some extra extra cavalry to try and kill the donkey caravans. That's going to be another stable coming up in the back as well. So basically just waiting for some proper population limit, as Helepolis is coming up from this fortress, is coming all the way to the middle in there, as he's still moving forward. Helepolis from the opponent as well gonna help in this battle, because of course she's having a huge amount of hit points, 95% PS armor. So yeah, just stand there and take all the damage from all the Toxotai and the Peltasts. That's something she's gonna be good at quite a lot, but you can see Tyrants trying to get rid of some of the villagers, apparently not going to be that successful. As Zeus is present yet again, but he should be fairly easily singled out. It shouldn't be really that hard for him. As Helepolis is in here, and well, some extra horses are in. It should be really getting rid of the Helepolis before anything. Yeah, and they exactly are. It seems that it could be surviving right now, getting the champions in there. Much more importantly, this is still growing, and I don't think that Jester is playing this correctly. He just shouldn't be placing those buildings in there. He's going to be giving himself up. He should be just surprising the opponent by like 2-3 Helepoli, getting for the TC, because I'm kind of thinking that blue shouldn't be noticing all that much, especially since the tower is going to be coming down. He needs to be looking here. He right now is with the villagers. Champion Hippicon's trying to get rid of the trade still. And on the left, he's also quite consumed, trying to micro his army, trying to save it with the Helepolis. ×2, waiting to get another shot at the fortress. So right now he noticed, as villagers are coming back, but fortress is already down in here, so a bit more problems for you than you were probably expecting when you were coming with the villagers after it. Yeah, this is going to be slowing down the economy, of course, quite significantly as a side effect. Need some extra help from this Trireme, and well, we can just basically go all in. Yeah, with right now the Hippicons coming there, they are going to be getting rid of all of those farmers, and that should be very hard right now to come back from for Hagrit, because of course, even though he did kill the fortress, and he will probably try to get rid of this one as well, it's still going to be taking quite some time. Quite some time indeed. He already, well, he doesn't have masons. I was thinking for a moment that he could be. There's going to be another one coming up pretty soon. And much more importantly, there is still an oilman in the middle of the trade route. As those stables are still very much present in that. So TC killed, Hagrit is down at 2, which should be pretty much impossible for him to fight at. Because he needs to fight at 2 battlefields at once, and he is not having the pop limit for it at all. Even though Hagrit is still actually winning on score by 900 points, it's apparently not going to be that good enough. Not really that good enough. Well, he's probably going to be just waiting for Hagrid to realize that when he loses all the villages that he cannot do anything about the Helepoli himself. Even though he's trying to basically right now have a bit of a 1v1 with a few villages in there fighting, he is still pushing forward, trying to get rid of the TC first and foremost, but Polyphemus, the hero he is probably gonna be helping with that quite alright. Especially with the extra fire from the fortress, he's gonna be losing the units. Quite easily. Yeah, Polyphemus just right now going to be shredding the Helepolis. And those archers are just not going to be strong enough, especially with the horses coming into the gameplay pretty soon and quickly from all of those stables right next to the battlefield. Blue is still sending some extra reinforcements there, but without the extra Helipoli, of course, this one fortress finished yet again. It's just going to be pretty much impossible for him to do anything significant. And even though he's still trying as much as he can, not giving up on the game. Yeah, well, there's probably going to be sooner rather than later an attempt at this TC to take it for original Jester, and that probably is gonna be when the game is gonna end, if that will succeed. It's still not going to be all that ensured, because it's gonna take quite a lot of effort. Quite a lot of effort for Jester to actually pull this down. I'm just kinda curious why Jester isn't winning a whole lot more, because he's having one extra TC. Is he maybe having too much economy? 99. Maybe, yeah. Military units are kinda similar. He should be having more though. Civilian units a whole lot higher. And looking at food right now, a lot of food for Jester, wood not so much. Rather gold. He's not having really all that much extra resources as the TC has been right now finally rebuilt by Hagrit. So, well, that's highly unexpected to me. Highly unexpected for me. I was really expecting that original Jester is going to be just closing it from here, but apparently not. And Hagrit is, well, even though he is giving up on the position in the middle, of course, because he had to basically put everything into getting rid of all of this forward base. Yeah, well, with the dog being built, apparently the tower after that is still going to be requiring quite a lot of effort. And he might be defending this, but he's at the same time gonna be losing the front, and with the gold still being a huge problem for him. Luckily he can at least produce two prodromi, who are working quite alright. Well, it seems that he might just be able to handle a bit longer, as still those stables are present, and original Jester not really cleaning up the trade as he should be. Yeah, right now cleaning the way through, and potentially could be getting there with something a bit more major. Like, for example, dropping a fortress in there. That's something that he should be probably attempting. Just to get a few villages in there, drop it, and it could be working. Right now, though, hello! The game for original Jester might be getting just a bit more interesting, because apparently there's going to be an attempt to come back into the water. Still missing Salt Amphora, apparently. And well, there are going to be some Pentacounters already coming up to basically prevent the siege walls that still could be coming up, but yeah. Hagrit, yet again, going to be under attack at the bottom, as there are still plenty of units left, and they are binding quite plenty of army of Hagrit, which should be making things a lot easier for Jester in the front, but apparently not that much. Right now he's moving forward with the villagers, and probably going to be hoping to drop a Migdol in here finally. Yeah, or rather Migdol Fortress, of course. We are not playing with Egyptians here. But quite nice game overall. We are at medium toxod still, unfortunately not really all that many upgrades, but considering that Hagrid is having significant issues with gold, it's kinda understandable for him. For the opponent though, he should be having all iron at this stage. He's having just double bronze and copper. From him, he definitely should be having irons. All of them as the fortress is coming up, and once that gets finished, which I think that Hagrid might not even notice, oh well, then that's going to be goodbye trade, because that's going to be all that easy for all of those to get rid of it. All of that fire from the fortress. Anyway, archers moving forward, they are finally have it. Have it S from Hagrid as he's moving forward. Some champion prodromi from the opponent as well to basically counter all of this. And Polyphemus well finding his place on the battlefield. Yeah, smashing all those prodromi. Doing a good job of that, and it seems like that actually right now original Jester should be overpowering this a bit. It seems like that in the whole base, those buildings are going to be dying fairly soon, as the Chimera Tyrant is getting rid of the buildings. But of course, another idle time with the villagers. He still does have two gold mines actually. Still 2 gold mines very much present. Right now he's noticing that he can move forward. I'm just going to be absolutely confused by the missing Salt Amphora for the whole game. But yeah, another tower is going to be coming up, gonna be researched also, which is gonna be resulting into absolutely that trade for Hagrid. He should be probably noticing and rebuilding trade about here or other market, so that he can at least have something rather than nothing. There is still gold mine potentially for him available, but he would have to get rid of everything, and I kind of think he's even moving for that. with the Helepolis. Even the military buildings are kind of hinting at this at exactly this. But yeah, it's much more interested in the fortress, and of course, he should be also targeting the fortress a bit better into the donkeys, taking a bit care of it, because right now it's shooting into something that it doesn't need to shoot into. Yeah, into a bit of a fortress, or rather, into the market and into the stable, and nothing really all that major. At the same time, it is pushing forward through some absolutely obscure magic. He's still pushing forward right now, and it seems like the Jester is having pretty significant issues in here. And if it wasn't for the double fortress in there, I'm kinda thinking he might be even in pretty deep problems. You can see Hagrit at actually 1800 points more. He's doing such a great job. It's kinda curious, and it's all about the trade route actually. It's all about the trade route, and basically game winning condition for Jester could be just stop the trade and your opponent is going to be dead. He's not gonna be having anything at all, because even the Chimeras cost gold, right? There's Poseidon and Chimera. Yeah, there's actually a ton of it. 300 gold. That's just like a lot at this stage. But he's having quite plenty of trade. Already going to be rebuilding the market, because he is not really going to be needing this. He can leave all of this be. He doesn't need it at all. And maybe, just maybe, just now thinking about the fortress, how about some Hetairois? That's a unit we haven't seen yet. And Hetairois, with their bonus against buildings, they could be quite effective against TCs. Some kind of idea. They of course are having quite squishy armor against spears, I think. But it could be some kind of idea to get rid of houses, of town centers, markets, whatever. Could really be helping him, as right now Hagrid has been able to get rid of another building, and it could be also a useful unit for Hagrid, because you can see that he's quite often fighting right next to fortresses and whatnot, and trying to take them down just through sheer force of his horses, and not really through the Helepoli lately. So if he can get horses that are good against buildings, yeah, why not? Why not? That could be really working towards this advantage quite alright. As the Chimera is just now getting rid of the last building. There are some idols in there, quite plenty of them actually. And the water, well, the comeback wasn't really real for Hagrid. He just basically forced his opponent to spend resources and some population limit into more boats, which is of course still working for him, because they are still there, not doing anything significant. Not doing anything significant at all. And where are the villagers? Just waiting. Not doing anything, waiting for the transport boat. And I'm not sure where he actually wants to move. And why is he actually moving this way? He's having a quite funny trade, to be honest, from this position there. And right now, apparently, the Prodromai are in the middle of it. And I was just trying to look, how much gold does he have? Seems like that he's happy with his production. I don't know why then, though, because he's basically at 0. And he's having still 2 gold mines. He should be just going for the gold mines all the time. But apparently he isn't. And that's, of course, right now a problem for him, because he's not having enough army. You can see that he's missing population limit. He's right now spending the population limit into the trade of his opponent. Not a bad idea. It does have some merit. But the decision to abandon the little island with the gold, that I don't really understand what he's trying to achieve in there, as he's right now losing the fortress, the very important fortress, because the next stage is going to be the TC. Next stage is the TC, and once that goes down, I'm not thinking that actually Jester will be having enough fight in him, as Hagrid did. Hagrid was playing for 2T, or rather with 2 TCs for some time as well, but he was able to come back into this at 48 minutes already. That's one hell of a long game, actually. I'm not sure that actually Hagrid will be letting original Jester to come back in there. To come back and get the TC for himself. But let's not say that yet, as more towers are coming back in the bottom. Apparently there is going to be another attempt by original Jester to actually make something happen in there, as he's still very much alive in here, but not really for much longer, as luckily for Hagrid, unluckily for Jester, Hagrid is just now putting his back behind his effort to get rid of all of this, and that's going to be basically securing this trade route with the tower, or rather with the wall being finished, hopefully. He's going to be having to finish with the wall in here as well, as he has already cut through the forest. Well, yeah, it's gonna be just time for him to move forward and finally get rid of the town center for Jester once and for all. Plenty of villages, plenty of defense with fortress in the front, which is not gonna get finished, as apparently Yep, this Chimera is going to be there exactly in time together with the Prodromai. And we are going to be looking at even champions. So yet again, Hagrid is fully upgraded. His opponent is having just heavy toxots. Yeah, those Alepoli are just gonna be shredded in this fortress. Maybe even the villagers. What's he actually trying to do? He's trying to go through the tower and, through the wall. And probably into the trade to kill it. To kill the market because his opponent is having just one. And just right now finishing with the upgrades. Heavy toxots with bronze, copper. His opponent is at what? Oh, iron, bronze, yeah. So this is the reason why actually Hagrid is doing so well. And Jester is actually having quite significant issues. Right now there was some time where Hagrid wasn't having any upgrades because he was having sucky trade route. But right now he's having good trade. And that results into all the upgrades. And right now it's Jester who is having pretty significant issues because of course market is gone. Right now it's going to be gold gone altogether. Where is actually market gonna be rebuilt? If it's gonna be rebuilt in the first place. Archer range started. Market in here, though, but still it's going to be significant downtime. As finally Polyphemus with his little brother apparently with the Cyclops. Yeah, as you can see, it's basically the similar model, the same model, but with some extra clothing and better weapon instead of a club. He's right now going to be throwing this guy around. He's having a nice mace. He's gonna be getting rid of all of this. Trade is right now secure. And Hagrid is going to be free to push forward as much as he wants. He's right now fully popped. I'm fully certain that he's right now popped right now. Getting rid of the trade yet again. And this is looking quite dire for Jester. Very dire indeed. Because I don't think that he can actually produce anything significant because his trade is gone. He, for some obscure reason, gave up on this gold mine. This might have just lost him the game, to be honest. Because, yeah, he was too reliant on the market. He maybe thought that he could be using extra population limit without the wills, but it didn't do him any good. Right now Polyphemus just going to be skewered to death by all those spears and some extra swords as well by the Hippicons. But yes, the Helepoli, they're just gonna be a bit too strong. But the fortified TC that unfortunately doesn't have masons, that's a bit of unfortunate. Gonna be making the building a whole lot stronger. And those units are just gonna get rid of the villages that are the last line of defense against the siege. So, looking quite good. At the bottom, just extra tower, but that's about it. Yeah, this TC, it definitely was in the water range. Right about now, looking at how far actually that PRMS can be shooting, and the TC is gone. And let's see if original Jester will be having enough fight in him to actually come back the same as Hagrid from the 2 TCs into 3. Well, it's going to be quite interesting to see. I don't really expect that all that much, and yep, Jester doesn't expect it either. So, we are here after 51 minutes, 41 seconds of game time. Hagrid is taking this game. That was going so well for original Jester for a majority of it. But, well, Hagrid didn't give up, and even though he was inches from defeat when he was losing the TC in there, well, he prevailed, he didn't panic, and he was able to emerge victorious from this game and also from the match, because that means that he's going to be 3-1 and advancing into the semifinals where he's going to be meeting Shelty, who yesterday and on Thursday beat No Mercy 3-1 as well. So, well played, very good game. Well, I'm not really sure why he really left the gold mine in there. Yeah, he somehow totally missed them. I'm not sure how that's possible. Was he having such a weird point of view? Or rather, fog of war? I think that he should have seen this one. I don't understand how he missed this one. I would understand how he missed the one at the bottom. But this is completely confusing. That had to be some kind of brain fart or whatnot. Because I really don't understand how he could have missed that. Yeah. Yeah, that was exactly the issue. The idea from Jester that he was trying to do to kill the trade was the correct one, but unfortunately he somehow wasn't able to do it fast enough. The fortress should have been coming like 20 minutes ago. And when he did it, it was just a bit too late because Hagrid already had good trade, a lot of gold. He did have the upgrade, so he was able to hold on a bit longer before he could basically make some emergency rebuildings or whatnot. Yeah, well, good game. And has to be said that Hagrid definitely does have quite nice perseverance to him. Very good games. So let's check the post game. There are going to be some epic numbers there. Not mine, of course. But for the other players, Hagrit winning everything in there. Economic, well, that's a lot extra resources. Gold form trade, 14,000 more. Already, I'm not right now 100% if gold is also with the gold from trade, but I think it has to be. Because he gathered from about 4 or 5 gold mines. It will be 30,000 resources. So maybe 4. That would be 24,000 resources. And with gold from trade, it doesn't exactly add up, I think. But maybe it does. Maybe it does. I don't know. So it's probably going to be gold together with the gold from trade. So that's 2,000, 8,000, that's 10. That's 24,000 resources more for Hagrid. Yeah, well, you can kind of see the reason why Hagrid was still able to be in the game. That definitely does explain plenty of things. Then, well, efficiency, actually not that bad for original Jester. I was kind of thinking he might be a bit worse. But he's actually very well in there. But Hagrid, you can see 542 against 695. That's how efficient he was because of all the upgrades extras that he was having. Even at the end, you can see Hagrid 43. Unfortunately, Jester just 27. As long as actually Hagrid didn't have the upgrades, that was for about half an hour, the battles were going well for Jester. But once he got them, once he started getting them, it was getting a whole lot more difficult for Jester, and it just resulted into what we have seen here in this game. Champion Hippicons 109, Champion Toxotes 174. And those Chimera Tyrants, great idea from Hagrid, and they were significant in the game. Yeah, this was the problem when he lost the TC, I think, but he was able to crawl back from that. Very good job on this. Very good job indeed. Yes, this was definitely it. He was in a horrible situation overall. This was military units for him. As opposed to the opponent, you can see military units about 5, whereas his opponent Jester was about 32. Oh man. This was the moment where probably Jester had a shot at winning. Good resources, 130,000 at the end. Well, that's not right. Right? Actually, it is. 130,000. Actually, it is correct. 30,000 more than his opponent, as we have seen. What they were actually ending with. Nothing all that significant, it seems like. But at this point, a lot of food for Hagrid, apparently. 2,700 at one point in there. Wood, nothing interesting. Gold is probably gonna be low as well. And favor, yeah, well, original Jester having plenty of it, but unfortunately not enough resources and pop limit to use it properly. Anyway, GG and congrats.